This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
You are listening to Lucha Afterground.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lucha Afterground, the premier Lucha Underground after show. My name is Max.
And my name is Travis. Hey, guys.
Yep. Good to be here this week. Trav, before we begin, I have a surprise for you.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I don't like that. There's a bit of, I don't know, evil in your voice.
I'm just proud of myself.
Okay.
One member of the Lucha Underground cast,
Yes.
has a previous life as a recording artist. I'm going to play you one of their songs.
Okay.
And then I want you to see if you can tell me
Who this is?
Who this might be.
Okay.
Maybe tonight's the night.
It's a banger.
It's hot.
My intuition says that patiently you've waited forever. And
Any guesses?
I have two. I'll go with my initial guess.
Yep.
Melissa Santos.
Oh, no.
No?
That would be amazing.
Okay, sexy star.
Oh, man. No, listen. These lyrics are perfect English.
Okay. Well, there's only... Is it Evilise?
No, but that would also be
I have
amazing.
no idea then. Who is it?
Captain Vasquez.
I would never. That makes more sense. She's like a more like direct,
an
probably
actress.
has some sort of training.
Yeah.
That's funny. Great. How'd you stumble on that nugget?
She not only is she a former recording artist, I guess she's actually still recording stuff now. But she also is a veteran in the U.S. Army. So
Wow.
on Veterans Day came around, Lucha Underground put out some sort of press release about her.
Interesting.
And they mentioned her recording history. So I just sort of
Did a
dug
quick
around.
search?
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, what's her real name?
Carmen Perez.
Yeah. We follow her on Twitter.
Why?
Because she's a member of the cast.
I suppose. Well, anyways, that was Maybe Tonight from Carmen Perez's album Carmen.
Maybe tonight we will sell a few more copies
That's right.
of Carmen's album.
Oh boy. Other than that, don't really have much news and notes. Went snooping around, but that's about all I could find in terms of items of interest. Anything else come up with you?
Just been reading some reports from the live shows. Sounds like everybody's had a really good time.
Did we get a confirmation that King Cuerno is doing those?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So strange.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to come back as... Now, Cuerno has a very distinct tattoo.
Yep.
So it's not like they could just slide him in as somebody else. Although, that dude in the checkers, he's covered head to toe.
Yeah.
I don't know. See what happens there. I'm not convinced we're ever going to see him back on the screen. I can see a situation where they're like, oh man, we just need one more body for these touring things. Let's call it King Cuerno.
Maybe.
All right. Well, that being said, you want to get us rolling here?
Sure. Lucha Underground, Season 3, Episode 10. Basically, the end of Act 1.
Yes. Finally. I'm ready.
Yep. Recap, our little opening recap. We see some Masquerita Sagrada and Famous B, their story, as well as Puma, Vampiro, and reminders of Conan again. They really, really kind of hit that. I'm still not convinced. See, that's a guy I think might come back in some form or another as well.
Conan?
Yeah, just the fact that they keep bringing him up.
Be surprising.
It would be.
I think they right now, my feeling is they kept on bringing it up just so they could pull out that old casket.
Yeah, the old casket. Good point. All right, our first segment, Mil Muertes and Katrina, where she calls for Puma's death and says, if you don't do it, I'm not reviving you.
Yeah, which I thought was a really, really smart line to throw in there because we had talked about this last week where you can't just keep... If Mil were to lose, then the assumption would be that they would just bring him back, and then they would definitely be at risk of just repeating themselves, and then then why are we even doing this? So by just that one line, just adds so much more stakes to the whole situation.
Gives you a stipulation on his side.
Totally.
So we enter the temple. We don't see Slapback right away. We don't see them for a while, but we see the crowd is just everybody's got their weapons that they brought for the Believers Backlash. Can you remember some of them? I remember seeing a football.
some croquet mallets.
Croquet mallets.
Those actually came into play.
Those got used. Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, after that shot, that leads us to our nearest episode of
Man in the Wedge. I gotta get that wedge. Also, I just want to say that last week's Man in the Wedge, when we did it in your solarium, I was so convinced those acoustics were going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
And then when we heard it was probably our least harmonious Man in the Wedge we've ever done. It was just bad.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on here. Well, no, this one made sense. We didn't really get to see anybody.
We didn't see anybody.
But we got to see that they were all holding different weapons. So it kind of worked for the upcoming show.
Yeah, I suppose.
But it does nothing with our... I don't know if you could put that in...
dude, I'm beginning to think Man in the Wedge is done.
Don't say that.
I'm serious. It's not really... Is it adding anything at this point anymore?
No, can't say it is.
All right, let's put it... let's give it a few more episodes.
Yeah.
We'll see if maybe something
revives it.
Yeah, but right now, I mean, it's sort of irrelevant anyways. It doesn't really matter.
I guess.
For those of you who may just be joining for the first time ever,
welcome.
Man in the Wedge is the only thing we've ever contributed to wrestling analysis in general, where we use the person who's sitting behind Vampiro and Matt Striker off the very top to gauge where they are in the shooting cycle. Mm-hmm. But lately, it's just really been
not wonky. Working. It's been wonky at us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, we'll see.
We'll see. Give it a few more.
I'd love to see an old favorite just show up. That'd really kind of, I think, put a spring in our step.
Yeah. Hipster Pugsley.
Yeah. Where are you, buddy? So that leads us to our first match, the Believers Backlash match between Famous B and Masquerita Sagrada. Gotta say, I was smiling through this whole match. It was
me too.
Definite payoff. To this feud.
I loved it. The second time I watched it, they didn't really use a lot of weapons from the crowd.
No.
They used the very first one right off the bat. This match actually they overall for this episode, and we mentioned last week that I think would have been better is if they had just done this match and the Grave Consequences match.
I know.
And not had that middle match because it did feel like both this and the Grave Consequences match suffered from over editing at times. This match in particular, there wasn't even like a ring the bell. It was like the match just began and suddenly they're both on the outside.
Yeah.
That was super weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, a lot of the setup seemed really strange. It just didn't seem as very smooth. And it's weird because with all that editing going on, you think they would have smoothed out a lot of that dead zone. We've seen this kind of happen to them before.
Yeah. Well, maybe they did.
I know. Yeah.
I was fine with the pacing. Yeah.
I was entertained. Don't get me wrong. One thing that I kind of wish wouldn't have happened is that when there's a run in like that. So halfway through the match, Wagner shows up. And then to counter that, Son of Havoc shows up, and I think I would have preferred to see Masquerita Sagrada just deal with him alone.
Yeah,
he doesn't need the help. He's surrounded by all these weapons. They could have figured it some way, but now it sort of devalues that victory for him in a way.
But also, it kind of feels a little less like a blow off. Like it looks like, especially when he gives him his vest at the end. There, it makes you think that these guys are going to be working together a little longer.
Anyways, why don't you walk us through it?
Yeah. Starts out, the first really funny spot was when he puts on the football helmet and shoulder pads.
I loved it.
Yeah, like I'm already smiling. He takes him out, and then he starts to tease that he's going to pull a long ladder out from under the ring. It's just a little ladder, great thing, but then puts it up on top of the announcer's desk and hits a really nice spot off of it. Got a holy shit chant. Then we notice that guy standing there with that big bag of popcorn.
Yes,
like it's just waiting there like a loaded gun they show in the first act.
Yeah.
You know it's going to get used, and it does. Just a comedic effect. A lot of this, this is whatever. Just fun, just a comedy match.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Famous B throws him in a trash can, and then grabs those croquet mallets, starts hitting them with, and Masquerita gets out of there and uses the trash can lid, and then does.
He was hitting him hard with that trash can lid. I almost got it. it did not look like he was holding back.
No.
I almost got the impression that Famous B was a little surprised at how hard he was being hit with it. Yeah.
Good, cashing in receipts. Some of his super kicks were a little snug. He hulks out again. Remember, he had another good Hulk out. I really like the Masquerita Sagrada Hulk out.
Yeah, totally. I do. And that when that happens, I also began to notice, like, man, his gear is super dirty.
Yeah, it looked dirty, especially in this match.
Yeah, it wasn't just his gear. Like later on in the Grave Consequences match, I felt like Mil Muertes looked super dirty as well. It's like they just recently regrimed the temple or something, and everybody's just getting all this brown like crud all over them. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe, who knows?
It definitely felt more like an underground fighting.
Yeah, good.
You know.
Okay,
Yeah.
Are you happy now? Nobody looked at the camera.
Yes, I am. Actually, okay. Well, we'll talk about when we get to the Grave Consequences. But I got
okay. Yeah. Cool. So Famous B brings in a toolbox and pulls out, among other things, finally a spray can of arrogance, which is a reference to Rick the Model Martel. This is like what he used. He had blinded Jake the Snake in a famous angle. A really interesting match between the two of them where they were both like under hoods. It's a really cool. It's a really kind of different match. I was going to say this counts as like 0.5 of a cameo, like half of a cameo.
Okay. I'm with you on that.
Okay.
Definitely. Although I don't know why they would have done that, though.
It's just wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I guess.
And the crowd really responded to it. They started chanting,
true.
Rick the Model. Masquerita Sagrada gets... what is he? Oh, yeah, gets a bag, gets the wizard cap and wand, and then pulls out the bowling ball.
This just took forever.
I know, but it
took
was so
long.
funny. He was just having a good time. I was okay with this just being an extended beatdown, what it essentially was, because that's what he had earned this after all the.
That's true,
right? So Wagner interferes, grabs a picture of Famous B, and stops, and Son of Havoc enters and kicks some ass, and there's like the funny kind of tie spot, but I thought the scissor joke was one of the jokes that kind of fell flat.
I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
It was weird that Melissa Santos had brought that.
That's brought giant scissors.
Like, why? Yeah. What were you expecting? Okay, so if Melissa Santos, the character, brings those giant scissors, I mean, is she wanting someone to be stabbed?
Just an extended slice.
Yeah, I just don't.
Here, I got the really big ones.
Yeah, it's pretty violent for her, you know? Just saying.
Yeah, this guy keeps interrupting me doing my introductions. You make him
you make him pay.
Leave a mark.
She definitely didn't think it all through, though, because it easily could have been the demise of Masquerita Sagrada.
Yeah, one snip.
That's right. So that was weird. And I actually did like how Brenda, she saved... So Famous B was tied up by his tie. Brenda grabs the giant scissors, cuts the tie, and just has a quick moment to the camera where it's like, I saved him. Or it was like, I got him out of it.
Yeah.
It's like the one redeeming thing Brenda has ever done.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So then, what's his name? Masquerita Sagrada does an awesome dive to the outside, grabs a cream pie, hits Brenda in the face, and Matt Stryker's comment was a little off-putting. Do you remember this?
No.
He's just like, right in the face! Like it was a little kind of...
I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't understand what's so funny.
I don't know. It just sounded... He had the sinisterness to the way he said it that I didn't really care for.
Huh.
I don't know. You watch again. You tell me I'm crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, they use a boot and a swinging DDT off the rope for Masquerita Sagrada's win. Lots of fun. Post-match, they cut the head off of the cardboard cutout.
A little violent.
Yeah, and as I said, Son of Havoc gives Masquerita Sagrada a leather vest, so they're riding together now. That's the only, I had heard, I listened to, they'd done This Week in Wrestling, the non-WWE stuff this week, and they had...
On where?
On here, on Place to Be, or on Pro Wrestling Only Network, I should say. I think it was Peter Timothy said that's the one, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, how this doesn't feel as much like a blow-off. Like, they think Son of Havoc should be kind of moving on to bigger and better things.
I would hope so. I mean, I love Masquerita Sagrada, but I don't need to see him throughout this whole season, you know? Just like a mini feud. Trav. A mini feud. Snug. Every season would be fine for me.
Yeah.
I don't need anything more than that.
Yeah.
But if this is going to continue, I mean... Like, are we going to have in Ultima Lucha Tres, is it going to be Son of Havoc and Masquerita Sagrada versus Famous B and Dr.
I hope not.
I hope not.
I hope not. Yeah, I hope they got something new for them.
No kidding.
We shall see. So this brings us to the next segment. Backstage, we learn AR Fox's name is Dante Fox.
Dante.
Pretty good. I like it. And they just talk about their match coming up where they have to be teamed up. I thought it was a little weird that Killshot is so quick to kind of go for this.
Well, he did say that he understands why he did it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he's probably feeling guilty from leaving the people behind. I actually, as I was watching this the first time, it occurred to me that, okay, performances aside, these guys are probably being asked to perform the most complex, emotionally complex vignette in, like, wrestling history.
Sure.
You got,
Yeah.
they're so suspicious of each other, but Killshot, is also feeling this guilt from leaving his fellow soldier behind. He knows, you can just see it in their looks when they embrace that it's
still
not,
haunts them.
Yeah, it still haunts them, and
Still have various levels of post-traumatic stress disorder.
well, maybe something like that. Sure, yeah. But so that's a pretty. I mean,
Sure.
it's a tall order. Was it necessary? I don't even know. I think you could have just gone into having Dante and Killshot just being now feuding. I don't think you really needed to have this, because he already kind of jumped out and attacked Killshot before. Now you set up this whole other sequence that ends with him betraying him. I mean, wasn't that obvious?
I think we knew that was going to happen.
Of course,
I think adding this scene maybe kind of even confirmed that what we would have thought.
Yeah, it just, again, the whole thing just didn't seem necessary, especially when you have the Graver Consequences match coming up. Like, you could have cut out all the stuff. The only thing maybe that second match that we'll talk about in a second, I guess, could have is it at least demonstrated that Ivalice is injured. That's the one thing you can't just do. That's the one thing. That's the one purpose it served. But this vignette with Killshot and Dante, plus the match that follows it, easily could have just been removed from the whole Lucha Underground continuity, and it would have been fine. Aztec Warfare begins, and those 5 wrestlers just aren't there, and nobody would have been like, "Where the hell were these guys?"
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah. Good point. I'm looking at the 5 on either side, and the only one wrestler I'm really upset that isn't going to be in it is my beloved Argenis. We'll get to that match in a second, but there was a really interesting segment here to follow this Dante and Killshot, where we see Drago in front of the mirror again, doing a nunchucks. And right away, first of all, I'm thrown for a loop because I associate Drago and all dragons with the color green, as you had mentioned a couple weeks ago. And so to see Drago out of green, or any sort of dragon out of green, was right away, what?
Travis.
What?
Travis, he's always wearing that black gear. That's the only gear he wears, Trav.
He's only ever worn that one set of gear?
Yes.
That's it?
Yes.
I could have sworn you said green. And I've seen like I've talked about my daughter on here before. She has crayons, and different colors have different names. Like, it's like golden yellow, and dragon green was one of the colors. So that's why. And then I am I crazy? I remember you saying green a couple episodes ago about Drago. No? All right. Fine. Fine.
Well, let me just check the tapes. 1 second. Okay, I'm back from checking the tapes. I did, actually. I can't believe I forgot this.
Okay.
But Drago has worn many gear.
Slow down.
Yeah, when he first began, he wore baby blue. And then he's also worn red.
Yeah.
And then the black one, which is what he's wearing this episode.
Okay.
But he's also worn a white and blue number. And then also one that's sort of like a purplish.
Oh.
Maybe.
Purple.
That one is unconfirmed.
Okay.
And then there are rumors of a yellow one, although I cannot find evidence of that.
Okay.
and we have seen photographic evidence of green
Thank
and
you.
gold.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Fuck. Okay. Cobra Moon enters, and they're talking more about their last about when Drago was part of their tribe. We learned that he was a slave in her tribe, and that's why he doesn't want to go back.
This was dense with information.
And then, because then all of a sudden she says, you don't want to suffer the same fate as Daga. Has Daga been written off? Because she says he was torn apart by a new character we never heard of, Pindar.
Yeah, that can't be true, because we saw Daga in the trailer
with a sword,
holding a sword.
Maybe that was a red herring.
As if they're dropping red herrings. It's not a mystery novel.
It is kind of.
Well,
it's a mystery
maybe for
figuring
you
out,
and me, but not for the people they're trying to get.
It's a mystery figuring out Drago's gear. I'll tell you that much. This wasn't new. This looked like it had more purplish.
No,
kind of things to it.
Trav, we've already done it once. We're not doing it a second
I'm just
time.
I wanted to say that honestly.
Okay.
So you don't think Daga's been entirely written off?
I don't. I'm really confused as to what exactly is going to happen here with thinking back to the trailer and seeing like doubles of guys and stuff like that. Maybe somehow they start getting cloned. Yeah, it'd be weird.
Crazy.
But yeah, you just don't shoot Daga holding a sword in like a serpent throne room and then just be done with it.
For fun?
Yeah, for fun.
Good point. Mm-hmm. Thank you for your services. They give him his pink slip right afterwards.
No kidding.
Anyway, she says, call me your queen. And he refuses to, and guess who comes back in is Vinny Massaro.
Yeah.
He's the period to this sentence every time these two come in. And a period that always ends with a on the way out. That's Vinny's thing.
Does not seem necessary.
As I said, it's now officially a running gag.
You know that they shot both this scene and the last one in like the
One
same,
right after the other.
one right after another.
I'm
They would have been nice for a change of location. They seem, because right now it's this weird pattern. Where
just like
Drago is in the bathroom staring at the mirror.
Doing
so that's
the
what he
nunchucks?
does like all the time. This is like common behavior for him, just staring at the mirror. That's a little
and
weird.
doing nunchuck moves.
Yeah, and then it's also means it's common behavior for Cobra Moon to wait until he's in the bathroom to come and talk to him.
Now's my chance.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that needed to change. You have this whole set. Do it outside somewhere.
Well, we learned last season she's a bit of a freak. So maybe she's got a thing for the...
Gross, dude.
Take it up with Cobra Moon. Should we take a break?
Yeah, let's do it. We'll be right back after these words from Place to Be Nation.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Voice of Ring of Honor's Kevin Kelly here. I want to make sure you're subscribed to all of our great feeds here at Place to Be Nation. Just head to iTunes today and search and subscribe to the Place to Be podcast feed, the PWO PTBN feed, PTBN Pop, and of course the Kevin Kelly Show feed, which includes the full archives of my podcast. Some really great stuff. Subscribe, listen, and then rate us and leave feedback today. Thanks for being a fan of professional wrestling. More importantly, thanks for being a fan and supporter of the Place to Be Nation.
Place to Be Nation's JT Rosero here. In addition to the archives of the Kevin Kelly Show, we have a ton of great podcasts available to you on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and PlaceToBeNation.com. And we now offer them to you on two great feeds. On the Place to Be podcast feed, you can check out Scott Criscolo and me on the Mothership, the Place to Be podcast, with our famous Vintage Vault pay-per-view reviews. PTBN also covers current day wrestling with clotheslines and headlines, main event, Mission Indie Possible, in our monthly pay-per-view reaction shows with immediate feedback on WWE, NXT, and Ring of Honor Super shows. Relive wrestling's past with our monthly pay-per-view rewind series led by Ben Morse and the Dangerous Alliance Wrestling podcast as we dive into various subjects in the form of exercises and games. All of this in addition to Scott Keith's Podcast of Doom, which includes discussions on questions from listeners as well as current day and old school wrestling. We also have sports covered too with the Sports Lounge, the TJ McClune Show, and NBA Team Podcast. On our brand new PTB Pop podcast feed, we offer great shows such as the Glenn Butler Podcast Hour Spectacular, Rank and File, Lucha Undead, as well as a veritable podcast heaven for comics fans with the hard-traveling fanboys, Sellers Points, Todd Weber's Conversation, and Imaginary Stories. Subscribe to both feeds on iTunes and be sure to rate and leave feedback as well. All of these shows are available on PlayStation.com, where we cover pro wrestling, sports, movies, comics, plus tournaments and more. Be sure to check out on the right-hand side of the site for details on how to support the site when you shop at Amazon and download our free Place to Be Vintage Vault Refresh ebooks. We also want to thank our friends at Bonehead's Wing Bar in West Warwick, Rhode Island, and Fall River, Massachusetts, and Scott Keats' blog of Doom. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr as well. PlaceToBeNation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
This is Parv, and I'm here to tell you to listen and subscribe to the Pro Wrestling Only Place to Be Nation podcast network. That's the PWO PTBN podcast network, where you'll find a ton of in-depth shows done by hardcore fans. We've got Chris Zellner's 1-2 punch of Exile on Bad Street, and with David Bickenspan, a smash hit Between the Sheets. We've got Wrestling Culture with Dylan Hales and Dave Musgrave, Goodwill Wrestling and the reaction shows with Good Old Will from Texas. We got This Week in Wrestling with my man Pete and Johnny Sorrow, Stephen Graham and Tim Livingston's Pro Wrestling Super Show, Tag Teams Back Again with Kelly and Marty Sleaze, and a ton of other great shows too. And of course there's Titans of Wrestling and Where the Big Boys Play with yours truly and some dude from down south called Chad. PWO PTBN Podcast Network.
That was good.
That's pretty good. Eh?
Thanks. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know why that cracked me up so good. It was a bit of self-restraint from you.
Yeah.
Actually. It's good.
Thank you. Next match, winners go to Aztec Warfare 3. It's a 5-on-5. The Mac Mariposa, Marty the Moth, Evilise, and Jeremiah Crane. Which sounds like something from Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod Crane, he would be a member of his
totally.
My brother was killed by the Headless Horseman. You mean Jeremiah? Versus Killshot, Argenis, Dante Fox, Tejano, and Cage.
Yeah. Typical Dario booking, putting rivals on the same team.
Strange bedfellows.
That's right, and having some stakes to the match, right? Mm-hmm. You get into the Aztec Warfare, you don't. Overall, actually, I enjoyed it. know I said it wasn't necessary.
It did move story. The things we talked about. Evilise was carried off. And it looked like a legit thing. Like, it looked the same thing that happened with Taya, right? Because they look like they're legit crying. Or maybe they've said, this is how we really are going to sell ankle injuries. But it looks like you could see when she hits that kind of high spot, but she kind of landed weird on her ankle. And it looked like whoever it was she had hit it on kind of landed on her ankle weird. And she rolled right out.
When I first watched it, I thought it was just an act, and it was part of work. It was all all just a work because it's sort of in her nature at this point to be this injury prone character, which is fine.
Yeah, and she was screaming "not again." Not again,
and that seemed pretty explicit. Right? But when I went back and watched it a second time, and I've been sort of poking around on the internet, I guess she really did destroy her leg again.
Shit. Fuck, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But this was back in March, so
so she could be okay
year.
for that last. Maybe that's why. Do you think they might have gone back and thrown in that I challenge you to this match at Ultima Lucha Tres
because she
wasn't able to
wrestle for that whole time?
It's possible.
Well, maybe. And maybe she, in between, they had planned to have her have some sort of feud with a sword-wielding Daga, which then also couldn't work because they shot the vignettes first, and then they go back and they're just, okay, Daga's dead. Killed off screen. Torn apart.
Not even in a comic book like Big Rick.
Yep.
Anyways, I thought this match was really cool. They started with Jeremiah Crane and Dante Fox.
Yeah.
It's like it's a really great sequence to introduce the two of them.
Mm-hmm. Not a big fan of Jeremiah Crane's gear. I would have liked him just in jeans. And I'm not normally about that. I like having elaborate gear, but if he's just supposed to be some scrub who showed up and now is like going to be fighting, like he's not coming with like a full...
He should be a little more carny.
Yeah, not full red lycra.
Yeah, I agree. And then Ivelisse and Jeremy Crane kind of work together. That was a nice thing. And then Cage comes in and, scrupulously just clotheslines the shit out of Ivelisse, like he always does.
That made me cringe.
Yeah.
That made me cringe.
Yeah.
And not only Cage, like... wasn't the only one who crushed Ivelisse, because Killshot gave her a pretty serious like enziguri, I think, to the head. Yeah. And it's just like, Killshot, you're supposed to be like, Cage is sort of middle ground, you know. He's never really gone full babyface, I don't think. And but Killshot at this point is. Yeah. And that just seemed a little...
Sure.
I mean, I guess it's the nature of the beast when you throw those 10 competitors in there, but still.
Yeah. Tejano tags in. He kind of goes towards Cage. They argue on the outside. The Max hits that really good spot. And then all of a sudden it turned into like just a big spot fest when everyone was doing their thing. It was a cool bit of teamwork from Dante Fox and Killshot.
Yes.
An awesome flip to the outside from Dante Fox, which we'd never seen. Here we are starting to see
like
some of his
inverted,
stuff.
I don't know what to call that, but it looked... it looked great.
It was
I loved it.
Aerostar-esque, I'd say.
Yes.
Yeah. Ivelisse hits this is what I said, hits that great high spot and rolls and lands bad on her ankle. Now we know. And then Dante Fox turns on Killshot immediately, and Marty Moth gets the pin. It was a good match, but it was just kind of moving the story of, okay, now we know that these two are definitely not going to be able to work together. These 5 are in the thing. We have a reason why Cage and Tejano are not in the thing like that. And of course, my beloved Argenis.
So who is in after that match?
I was going to do that at the end. I think we can talk about everybody who we think is going to be. Let's kind of name our 20. We know 1 and we know 20, right? Number 1 and number 20. Then we'll go through it. Okay. So next, just a quick little segment of Dario Cueto talking to Matanza.
Darcy
Cueto. He's an old cop who works in the thing. Darcio Cueto.
Oh, which wrestler would you have him play?
What do you mean?
Like, if you're going to cast Darcy Cueto.
Fit Finlay.
Oh, yes. That is money.
That's how you do your job.
This is great. The cast is filling out, man.
That's right.
I know you're still not sold on my Roz from Night Court type character.
No,
okay.
I'm not.
Okay. We'll have to rethink that one. I just like the idea of a clerk that kind of gets them out of jams.
Sure.
Kind of thing. It kind of covers their butt all the time for the chief who's always riding their ass.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can. I think we can find something that's not a trope.
Yeah.
We can break new ground.
Okay, good. Mm-hmm. So Dario Cueto talks to Matanza, and we hear Matanza. It's like, we know what's coming, right? And we hear Matanza speak for the first time.
Yeah, and a real nice tidbit in here that they were Matanza was trained by their father.
That is right. That was so. This wasn't just a quick little bit of nugget of information. I thought that was just. I thought this scene was primarily to get ready next week. Is just a quick sell the big show, the Ultimate Warfare, Aztec Warfare 3.
No, they dropped a little more tidbit of their biography. I think this is the first time
we had heard about a father.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
I mean, I had always assumed that it was a single mom situation,
an immaculate conception.
Oh yes, sure. Why not? Anything is possible.
Yeah. So it was what it was, but that leads us to our main event. Grave consequences. Prince Puma versus Mil Muertes. Right away after Mil Muertes is introduced, Prince Puma comes running in and interrupts it, and then hits that awesome crazy dive into the crowd right away. Mm-hmm. Mil Muertes parts the sea again later, as we saw. Heated brawl early, like great brawl to the outside. I saw a really hilarious face of a fan there. Do you ever kind of stayed on him for a long time? He's kind of a bigger guy. He was kind of like, what?
That was the popcorn guy. Same guy.
Was it the same guy? Yeah, that was really good.
That guy is actually...
a regular?
Well, he's definitely a regular. He was one of the guys with the straps
Yeah.
in the first strap match with Hernandez. Mm-hmm. He is also. I discovered him recently because I've been doing some research into Rocky Romero and just going through YouTube, watching all these interviews with him. And that guy has his own YouTube channel. It's called Deshaun's 2 Cents, and he interviews Rocky Romero twice.
Yeah,
and both times it just seems like he's like just found him somewhere in the world, and it's just like, Rocky, can we have this interview? And to his credit, Rocky Romero goes for it.
That's cool. Good for you, Deshaun.
Deshaun's
if you're
2
listening.
Cents.
Hey,
Check
Deshaun.
it out.
We noticed you. Great faces today. Great facials. You're a big part of the atmosphere there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, like I said, Puma goes through the door into that one kind of that mystery room.
They love anytime Muertes is fighting. Somebody's going to get thrown through a roof, through a door, through a wall, through a window, something like that. It's great.
Yeah, especially in a Grave Consequences match. And then they go to the bell. I hear the bell ring 3 times. I laughed. I laughed at Matt Stryker selling when he hits him with the bouquet. It's like, there are thorns on those roses.
Yeah, I know.
That was funny.
Got to keep cranking it up.
Yeah. Puma drags the coffin over. Gets that. I don't know what it says here. Right hand. I'm not sure what that means. And he power bomb. Oh yeah, no. He gets one of those. As it took him long enough to get it over there that Mil Muertes was able to get revived by the thing, and then hits one of those trademark right hands, maybe the best right hand of the match.
The one that was
just before he power bombed him onto the coffin.
Yeah, because and that was he hit him out of the air, didn't he?
Yeah, that happened later too.
Okay.
That was like the kill shot, for lack of a better term. Mil Mascaras uses the chair, sets it up with the table on the other corner, and then a nice sequence between the two that leads to Mil Muertes spearing Puma through the table.
Mm-hmm. The Reaper's trident.
Yeah,
I love that whole sequence.
Yeah, me too.
It was so clean. Yeah, it was great.
Mil Muertes but he unscrews the hook from the side of the ring again, hits Puma with it. It's good. So already it's starting to just look like a mess, like like all the stuff on the side.
Yeah,
it's good. It needs this. Puma hits the 450 from the top onto the coffin. Crowd is loving it. Puma opens the coffin, tries to stuff him in. Puma goes to get chair, nasty shot onto the top of the coffin. This is when Vampiro's like, oh, I don't know. Like he's not trying to win this match. He's trying to hurt him.
Vampiro's, at some point, there was, through the middle portion of this match, Vampiro's commentary became very weird. Mm-hmm. It was like, I don't know if he was trying to put on some sort of like a character, like his dark side character,
or add some crypticism between him and
but it just
Puma.
It didn't work. I don't think
so either.
Yeah.
So then he sets up those 3 tables onto the outside. Mil power again, choke bomb onto a coffin. Mil Muertes pushes down on Puma. Great tension. That's leading up to what I thought was the spot of this really great match. That flatliner counter.
Yes.
Where he's like, and he lands on his feet and then turns into a super kick.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
That was the best.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of the whole match.
Yeah. Mil Muertes catches Puma on a tope, diving tope with the right hand. Yeah. And then did you hear this? There was a bit of a ricochet chant for about maybe 3 or 4 chants, and it vanished.
No. Didn't notice.
I could be wrong. I saw it twice. I really thought I heard it the next time. Not a bad chair headshot in terms of, because usually it's either because his arms were up there and it looked like it wouldn't have hurt him, because usually that's a problem, is either it looks shitty or you got to really smoke somebody in the head.
Yeah.
But this one,
that would look good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it looked safe. Puma really was showing a different side of his character throughout this, just being a brawler. Like he's had some of his other things, but had a different kind of anger to his work. Puma gets Mil Muertes up on the ropes, he kind of comes to, great strikes back and forth. Then Mil Muertes choke slams him through the tables, which was nuts. Mil Muertes grabs a coffin that was Conan's, drags it to the ring again, sets the other one down nicely on the wheels for some reason. There was no reason for that to kind of get this back. I'm sorry, I took this off. I know you guys worked hard on this. I just want to make sure everything's the way I left it.
That's right.
I'm going to have trouble getting those flowers back together, though. Just going to give me some time. And Matt Stryker talking Conan a bit more. Mil Muertes drags Puma into the coffin and closes it. Cut to a quick shot of a grinning Vampiro here. That was definitely deliberate. There was an edit there to show him smiling at the result of this.
Yeah, for sure.
Great match, hot brawl. I went 4 stars on this. I couldn't go higher than their one-on-one match before this. Because they were different matches, but I both think that, like, I don't want to say this was a disappointment, but I really kind of thought this was going to be a little bit better. But 4 stars is still, you know what that is? That's 90%.
There you
That's
go.
What four stars is.
There you go. I liked everything until the very last moment. Not the very last moment, but from the chokeslam from the corner into the 2 tables.
Yeah.
From that point on, the momentum just stopped. If Muertes had done that, picked up Puma, flatlined him instantly, then thrown him into a coffin, it's great. But there's so much time that takes place between when he throws him into
and goes to get Conan.
Then he goes to get the coffin. Then he pulls it over. Then he lifts up Puma, and it's just taking time and time and time. And it never really felt like you didn't realize, because of all the time that's been passing, it doesn't feel like that chokeslam was the climax of the match, which it was. And then so now you have this long coda, and then it just ends, and it's just sort of it was shocking, actually.
Yeah, but when it was like as such a big, like, nasty fall, I was okay with it being. I could tell that was going to be it. I could tell Puma wasn't going to push out of this. That was, as I said, the kill shot.
You gotta stop using that. It's confusing.
I know.
It's confusing.
The final blow. Is that better?
Yes.
So the Dawn of the Dead people come out, drag him away. Before we kind of move on here, I want to ask: is this one of the spoilers you knew?
Yes.
That Puma was going to die.
Yes. Yeah, it was.
I had heard that as well.
Yeah. I had heard that he was going to. Yeah, that he was going to be killed off.
I don't know if that's. I had heard it killed off in passing. I assumed it was going to be in this match when we got to this.
But is this legit? Is Puma not coming back?
We shall see. I would guess no. I would guess they're going to find a way to kind of revive.
Too big of a start. You can't have an Ultima Lucha Trace with a Prince Puma.
Agreed.
You need him.
So. Yeah, that's. I thought it was a really good episode.
Did you give any stars to the Masquerade Sagrada match?
Nah, you can't. You can't. It was super fun. I was having a good time.
That 3 stars, Trav?
No, it was super fun, and I was laughing, but it didn't really follow a.
Dude, that is straight up whacked.
And how do you
know it, and I know it, but hey, it is what it is.
How do you properly gauge something like that? If it had really I think it would have had to really kind of enter some sort of storytelling kind of territory to enter that.
There wasn't a lot of storytelling, that's for sure.
But let's do this. We got a pen?
Oh, you want to?
Name our the 20. Our guess at the 20 combatants.
Sure.
Number 1 is
Matanza.
Number 20 is Drago, old Greenie himself. Okay, so that leaves
18.
Thank you.
18 competitors left, and we know that some of them are going to be.
So we can do that part.
Yeah. We've got Marty the Moth somewhere in there. We got Mariposa. We got who else came out with that crew? Even Argenis?
No, don't bring it up again. The Mac.
Good.
Evilise and Jeremiah Crane.
But Evilise is injured, so she's not going to be there.
Jeremiah. Okay, so we'll put in brackets Evilise's spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, so, Evilise's spot, it doesn't matter. We got to fill it with a body.
Okay.
Well, let's throw Mil Muertes in there.
Okay.
You would think.
That'd be nice
the worldwide
if that was 1 and 2.
Worldwide Underground.
So we got
Johnny
Mundo, PJ
Black, the Darewolf.
Brown, Black.
You have real issues with colors.
Jackie Evans.
Taya.
Is she back? She hasn't worked.
Yeah,
we'll put her there.
Yeah, I think so. She's not like officially injured or anything like that.
Do we think Cobra Moon?
Man, yeah, I guess so. Why not?
Do we think
Son of Havoc?
Son of Havoc.
I would think Dr.
Wagner Jr.
Dr. Wagner Jr. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I think those two for sure.
We're already filled it up here. I mean,
let's go Paul London
and his 2 cronies.
2 checkerboard-looking moths.
That's right. And so, I mean, are we there? How many do we need left?
1, 2, 3, 4 left.
Only 4 left. I mean, Pentagon Dark.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, Pentagon Dark.
Dragon Azteca Jr.
And Rey Mysterio. That does it.
There you go.
Are there any we're possibly skipping here that we shouldn't have?
Not that I can think of. The Mac is in there, right?
Yeah.
And we know the other guys were eliminated.
How about one of our favorite Bengala?
I would mark out so hard.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think we figured it out. If you think there's somebody else that we've missed here, you let us know. Hope Evalisa's okay.
Yeah,
I do. I hope she comes back sooner rather than later. But I kind of get the feeling that, like we said, if they made a point of cutting that early promo of her going after Katrina at the end, we might not see her again until then. Like you said, maybe some back vignettes when she's, bringing Daga back from the dead and giving him that sword.
Who would you like to see pop up as a surprise?
Outside of Bengala?
Good question. There is only one good.
Well, we also love our
Pimpinella. I wouldn't mind seeing Angelico make a surprise.
Oh yeah, he should be back soon. That would be great.
Awesome.
That'd be great. I hope so. I hope he does, because there is a chance that it's just going to be Paul London and the other 2 guys are just going to be not official entrance and just kind of helping him out.
Yeah.
And just Masquerade Sagrada and Famous B could easily be in there if Son of Havoc and Dr. Wagner Jr. Oh, Joey Ryan will probably be in there. And probably Cortez, maybe.
Oh, Sexy Star isn't on there either.
Yeah, there we go.
When she has the
Gift of the Gods.
Yeah, but she's going to cash
she lost it.
No, she didn't.
Johnny Mundo has it now.
Oh, that's right.
So yeah, I would put definitely Sexy Star in there. I'm going to take off the checkerboard looking mosques. I'm going to put Sexy Star. And then I'm going to put Joey Ryan. I think that makes more sense.
We shall see.
Yeah, it's exciting. This
Realistically, there's only like a handful of people. Who's your pick to win it all?
I can't say. I think we've talked about this.
I mean, I'm leaning towards a Pentagon Dark.
That makes sense, right?
It's coming in a little bit under the radar.
And, Puma's been eliminated from the equation.
That's right. Rey Mysterio, can't laugh at that. He's a definite contender.
Guess we shall see.
And then Mil Muertes, now that this feud is done, I mean, he's going to have something to do as well. So,
yeah. I would really like that idea of Matanza and Mil Muertes being 1 and 2. That'd be a good bit of booking to get things going.
No kidding. If you could have Mil win it, and then Johnny Mundo cashes in against Mil. That's a match I would love to watch.
Yeah.
It could be fun.
Yeah. Both Aztec Warfares have been season highlights. And probably the most universally acclaimed matches to come out of Lucha Underground in terms of people that just don't follow Lucha Underground. It's always so I expect
the one that they want to watch.
Yeah, and this is like their baby, man. This is like kind of their thing that they've come up with, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I just wish they could give this more time. I would love to see an extra 10 competitors in this. Get another 10 competitors and stretch it over 2 hours.
That'd be nice.
You wouldn't even have to have it,
Yeah.
Anyways, this episode overall, I enjoyed quite a bit.
Yeah,
I thought it was a good one.
Yeah.
Anything left you want to say?
I am hopefully, doing the newest episode of the History of the Stampede territory, but now we're getting into 1987, which I can pinpoint as like a real formative time for me as a wrestling fan. We've been able to pinpoint this one feud that I can remember really clearly. We're going to see if it stands up, because we just finished the 70s footage, which I can't recommend enough. It's so great. Big Daddy Ritter, who would later become JYD, is the best, man. So good. Him and Dynamite Kid and the manager John Foley were the three who just like knock it out of the park every time they were on screen. So looking forward to that.
Has Jushin Thunder Liger shown up yet?
Nope, but he might. I think he is later. He's later, and that's the Unmasked.
That's right.
Before he took on the persona, but that's part of the.
So how do people listen to this? What is it called exactly?
It's Titans of Wrestling, but it's the Stampede territory, like sub genre or sub kind of listing through the Titans, under the Titans banner. Me and my buddy Kelly are having a lot of fun. It was, like I said, it was bittersweet to finish off that 70s footage, because there just isn't anything that exists in terms of full episodes until you get to the mid 80s. Recommend it. Looking forward to doing that. We're joining our friend Rick. Is going to join. We're going to record at his studio, which should be great.
Sweet,
because he's an old friend of ours from Calgary, and we grew up together too. So
radio personality.
That's right.
All right.
But Squatchcast.
Yeah,
aliens.
You check out Squatchcast.
I got about halfway through it. It sounded pretty good.
Yeah,
it sounded pretty interesting.
Oh God. If you're interested in Sasquatch and you want to learn a little bit more, you can check out the Squatchcast. Just search for it on iTunes.
Yeah, and keep forgetting to mention, Place to Be Nation is doing something called Pilot Season, or actually through Pro Wrestling Only, where if you have an idea that doesn't already have for a podcast that isn't really kind of already covered on the Pro Wrestling Only network, pitch it to them. I heard one the other day, just two people picking matches, and each one of them picks a match and that the other might not know about, and then they discuss it. It's pretty cool. Which is a really simple idea, but it works. So if you have any ideas, like go to prowrestlingonly.com or look up Place to Be Nation on Twitter. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Alrighty. We'll be here next week. Question is,
Maybe tonight's the night.
Stay safe, America.